Hello everyone and welcome to Two Old Goats Farm. Here today to talk about preserving greens for future use all the way into the winter and everything cabbage. Today's my rabbit hole today was my cabbage. It started with me wanting to make some sauerkraut over some cabbage that I had purchased and was kind of getting to the last leg of it, and I ended up making a sauerkraut. Now the cabbage that I had to peel off some leaves that had started to go bad, and I really didn't have a lot to do a batch of sauerkraut, so I decided to go out into the garden. I'm attempting to grow cabbage for the first time. I'm producing these huge leaves. You'll see that on my story. No cabbage as of yet, but when I see a green leaf, especially a dark one, I think of all of the minerals, all of the vitamins, everything that's in that, and I don't want to throw it away. So again, I have some pictures up on my story, you'll see. But I took the leaves, cut out the vein, went through, made sure everything was okay, and I made stuffed cabbage with the leaves. I don't have my grandmother's recipe, unfortunately, so I felt it was okay to take the liberties to change everything up. So I used ground turkey, onions, and cauliflower rice, and I blanched the leaves to be able to roll that up. And I'll be doing it's a traditional but not traditional in my family, a mustard, like a mustard cream based sauce. Not mustard, mushrooms. So it's mushrooms with a sour cream base, and I feel that heavier sauce will be able to cut through the richness of the darker leaf vegetables. And I'm looking forward to that's tonight's dinner. So if you have any questions about that, just give me a holler and I'll go through the steps with you. But I did have a lot of leaves left over, so I did make up a container for a later use. Put all my directions on the top, and I'll just take this out of the freezer and follow my steps. I'll take this top part off because I don't think baking Sharpie is a good idea. But I'll just cover it with foil and proceed with the steps and have that one night as a quick freezer meal. The other thing I did was hoping that I could use them in a later time. I froze some of the leaves. So this is an example. I just took this out of the freezer. I blanched these for about 3 minutes. This is how I've been treating all of my greens, so you'll see different examples. Blanch for, usually it's 2 minutes. I gave 3 minutes because these were a little thick. And then you toss them in ice water to stop the cooking process. I then took each leaf individually. Let's see how big these actually were. These are just pieces of the leaf. Rolled them up, and I have them on a cookie tray with parchment paper. I'm going to freeze this solid first, and then I'll place it in a freezer bag. I freeze it solid first so they don't stick together. I want to be able to take them out individually, treat them individually. I did that with my fresh Swiss chard that I got at the farmer's market. I had a little story on that. I got 2 big huge bundles for $5. Never was going to be able to go through all of that Swiss chard at once, so what I did was I blanched the leaves for 2 minutes, ice baths for 2 minutes, and then I gathered them up in a clump that I felt I would use for a serving. There's a littler one for, let's just say, I want to toss it in a frittata. I also separated out the stems, so I have diced up stems that I could toss into soups, whatever that may be. And this way, in the next 6 months, if everything stays well and I don't have any issues with freezer burn, I'll be able to enjoy these spring greens well into the season and beyond. So that's how I treated my Swiss chard. I had grown escarole, did a couple sautés of escarole with white beans, really good. It's always good in soup too. It was getting towards the end of it. I didn't want to lose it, so again, in the process of freezing it, I boiled for 2 minutes, blanched for 2 minutes, put it together in a clump that I felt I would use. You know, this is a nice side dish that you can do. And again, just trying to preserve all of those nutrients that I can. You know, a lot of people ask me why I grow all of this food. Your best source of food is when you can walk into your backyard and you can pick it out of the ground. So that's when you're going to get the most nutrients. You know I'm not spraying anything. I'm not using any kind of chemicals. My dirt has been treated with, you know, worm castings, blood meal, bone meal, organic. So I know that I'm putting as much as I can into the dirt, and that plant that I'm growing is taking those nutrients and using it to develop a high quality you know, product. So the step that you can go after this is then you go to your local farmer, because your local farmer, it doesn't have to be organic, but you know, your local farmer is taking the time to do it, and there's a less of a travel time from the time that they process the food. Like you'll see sometimes at the market, the vendors saying these strawberries were just picked this morning. So as soon as it leaves the vine, the plant, whatever that is, it starts to break down, and you want to get that as soon as you possibly can. Things that are coming out of season, things that are coming from other countries, whatever that may be, they're treated to be able to present itself edible, and it doesn't last as long. So this is why I grow the food, and this is why I'm going through the process of trying to preserve it for later uses. Another way that you can do that, preserve it, is dehydrating. These are my radishes. The other day, my radish chips that I dehydrated, so that's a new thing that I have in the house. I just felt that I was preserving food, so a dehydrator was a good purchase. And I've been making tons of fruit roll-ups with the strawberries I picked the other day. I picked 26 pounds of strawberries, so that's been a work in progress. Another way you can preserve food is with fermentation. This was the start of my rabbit hole this morning, was making, I've been making my own sauerkraut. So really enjoy doing this. If you make your own sauerkraut, you'll never go back to, you know, a store-bought or especially a can. There's just something about it. It just tastes a lot, really fresh. I'm excited about this because it's taking on a green tint. I thought that was pretty cool. Because I have those new leaves in there, or the green leaves in there. I have done a sauerkraut with beetroot, so that's just taking one large beet, washed, not peeled, and you grate that, and you add that to your cabbage and ferment that, and that comes off as a really, not only tasty, because you have the taste of the beet, so it's a little earthy, and also the nutrition of a beet, you can't beat that. But it comes off with a really cool pink color too. So there's all kinds of different things that you can play around with, but this is what I played around with today. So I have my dinner all set for today. I have some greens that are going to be waiting in my freezer, waiting in the wings for a future process. And if you have any questions or comments, just give me a holler and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. This is a learning process for me. Some things may work, some things may not. So hopefully I'm going in the right direction, and I hope everybody's having a great day. Take care.